going on, family? How you doing? Sorry we missed last night. It's a lot of stuff going on. I'm just gonna say it. A lot of stuff. Listen, I told y'all. I called it. I said this is gonna be like a battle. I said what it was, and that's what it is. But before I get started, before we talk about what this battle is and how this battle is raged, remember it is fast approaching on us on the 21st. We have a book club meetup, March 21st. That is this month. We have to have the conversation. American slavery, American freedom. I'm about halfway through, so I'm gonna push through the rest of this week. I got a little everything popped off, so I wasn't able to get it. I like to get stuff done way early. I don't know if most people like to do that, but I didn't get to do that with this book, so I'm gonna push through the rest of this week and get the rest of it done, family. Listen, please like. It costs you no money, costs you no time, family. It costs you nothing. Please hit that like button while you're in here. Please also share. You can go to donatebrown.com. You can go to patreon.com/ycarnell. You can do all of that stuff. What you like, whether you subscribe, that stuff is free to you and your mama too. So listen, I don't think anyone that I have seen has addressed this college fraud, cheating, bribery scandal from the lens of ADOS and what it means to us specifically. This is not just a case of, oh, they always be cheating, they be out there and they be doing, that's so wrong, I hope they get in trouble. No. This case shows how and why we're locked out. It shows how everything is tied to a wealth that we don't have because the wealth is baked into them, and the poverty and slavery and the crude disadvantage is baked into our lives. So what I want to do is go through one reporter's Twitter stream, and then we're going to break it down piece by piece. So we're going to start off for some people who don't really know the timeline or exactly what happened or how it happened. We're going to hit that real fast. So stay with us. Then we're going to break it down piece by piece, bit by bit. And then we're going to come all the way back and show how it impacts us and the necessity of reparations. So let's start. We're going to start right here. This was actually 2011. She just wrote it wrong. An FBI agent laid out exactly what happened. This college bribery scam started in 2011 is what she meant to say. Not yet ended. Now let's go to the next one. We just gonna go hit these point by point. The fraud involved three parts: bribing SAT, ACT test administrators to facilitate cheating on those exams, bribing varsity coaches. Bribing your college coaches is a problem. Bribing varsity coaches and administrators at top universities to get students deemed as recruited athletes. Masking the bribes as tax deductible donations. Now, when we talk about that, I want to bring one thing up. We're talking about masking those bribes as tax deductible donations, right? So while we're doing that, let's just go to something else real quick. Can we? Lori Loughlin's bizarre wild tape phone conversation with the college administration, the college admissions scammer person. Okay, I want to just take a moment out and show you what that looked like. Let's just take 1 second out and look at what that looked like. We are moving. It's politics 102, 103, and 104 at the same time. Let's move. So this is the informant that's talking to her, the cooperating witness, number one. That's the guy. We'll talk about him. His name is Bill. He was the one at this SAT prep course or whatever it was called. It was a scam and a farce and everything else. And he was setting this and hooking all this stuff up with these people so that their kids get into school and bribe their way into school. Now he's talking to Loughlin. If you ever were to say anything, Loughlin, so we just have to say we made a donation to your foundation. That's the end, and that's the end of the story. That's correct. Okay, terrific. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I touch base because I didn't want you, Loughlin. Yeah, she understand. Yeah, I know what you mean. To all of a sudden, what? Like, what's this coming? Where's this coming from? Okay. All right. So that's it. So it's the IRS, not anyone from USC. USC is the school that he illegally, allegedly, or whatever got her daughter into. So she's just making sure that it's about a tax thing and it's not about anything else. So you have to understand that what he was doing, the guy who ran this Everest College or whatever it is, he became a cooperating witness because he was running this whole scam where people could bribe their kids into school with their money by paying off coaches, by paying off and having fake SAT scores, and faking them as athletes. He was setting this whole thing up. He was setting this whole thing up so that they could scam the system and get their little kids into these schools. That's what was happening. So now back to the timeline. So this was the timeline. That's what we're talking about when we talk about bribing coaches and administrators at top universities to get students deemed as recruited athletes. Now understand something, family. When we talk about getting deemed as recruited athletes, you have to understand one thing. You have to understand that recruited athletes don't have to have the same GPA as everybody else. So you got to think about this in the context of what's being taken away from your kid. So you may have a kid that, like, they come from the ghetto or they come from lower middle class, and we're all economically flat. We don't come from anything. So in terms of money, and our only way out may be athletics. So they done scam their kids into making their kids look like they're athletes when they're not athletes. They do props. Well, what do you mean, Yvette? What do you mean they do props? Well, it's very, very simple. They had their kids staged to understand how elaborate these con artists were. They had their kids staged in photographs to look like athletes. Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm just going to show you. I can show you. I can always show you better than I can tell you how they scammed the whole system. Now look at this. They got this girl looking like an athlete, like she plays whatever she playing, and she don't really play nothing. They set up this Everest college preparatory, whatever this thing is. They set this whole thing up to make her look like an athlete when she play, and they did it with everything: rowing, soccer, tennis, to make these kids. So your kid, let me put this in context. You might have a kid. You might have a kid who, let's just say that kid, your child is good at basketball, or your child is good at football, and you're thinking, my child might get an athletic scholarship. What you don't know is that those wealthy people have scammed the system to the point to where they've got their kids in schools looking like athletes when their kids are not athletic at all. You are scamming the entire system. Let me show you something else. And this is how Bill, now this is Bill. Now let's talk about who Bill is, because everything requires a level of context. The authorities said Mr. Singer used the Key and its nonprofit arm, Key Worldwide Foundation. It was called the Everest Key or something like that. He used that foundation and the little thing he had, which is based in Newport, California, to help students cheat on their standardized tests and to pay bribes to the coaches who could get them into college. That's what he did. And I want you to understand how he described it. Now understand that this is all from this New York Times article. So if you want to pull that up while I'm talking, actresses, business leaders, and other wealthy parents charged in U.S. college entry fraud. If you want to pull that up while we're having the conversation, you can, and you can read that simultaneously. Now, what I want to say, I want to show you how Bill, who was running this whole scam, how he described it. If I can make the comparison, there is a front door of getting in where a student just does it on their own, and there's a back door where people go to institutional advancement and make large donations, but they're not guaranteed in, Mr. Singer said. And I created a side door. That guaranteed families to get in. So that was what made it very attractive to so many families, is I created a guarantee. Family. Let me help you to understand something, if you don't. This is the worst traits of a society. These people are showing you the worst traits. These are predators. You remember, what did Hillary Clinton say? She said we have to bring them to heel. I understand who needs to be brought to heel in this society. And it ain't us. It ain't us. The people that we are talking about here are a scourge on society. They are predators, they are sharks, they are lions, they are tigers, and they are not eating for food, they are eating for sport. And they are eating everything and anything around them. It's like a cancer. Stage 4, terminal. That's what these people are in human form. And there is no way to exist around them. It's hard to exist around them in general, but especially without being made whole through reparations. That makes it increasingly difficult. But let's just go back. I want to make sure we tell this story before I get to all of everything that's happened. Now, we talked about this, but let's just bring it all the way. Let's just bring it bigger for you. So that we understand the timeline. I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's how the athletic cheating happened. Fake student profiles were created. The real students had little to no or no athletic ability and often didn't even play sports like tennis or crew. But bogus awards, athletic activities, and photos were put on the college application. Now you remember we already talked about how the other cheating happened. The parents wanted to get their kids into schools like UCLA, Stanford, USC, Yale, Texas. Here's how the SAT cheating happened. Most often parents pay for their kids for their test to be corrected after the student took the exam. But in some cases, someone else took the test. Let me tell you something. Let me give you a personal story. I did much better on my second SAT than my first SAT. I still didn't score to where I thought I could have scored or where I thought I should have scored. I didn't score no 1,500, right? Understand that even as a high school person of the age of, I think I was 19, I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, am I just not smart? Am I just not good at this? I'm a good student. I've made decent grades. Am I just not smart? Understand that what's happening, your kids, those of you ADOS family who have kids, your kids are walking around wondering a lot of that same thing. Like, if I didn't score 14, 15, am I just not bright? Am I not? What's wrong with me? You're not understanding. There's people out here getting the test taken for them. And what these kids are telling you is that they don't even care about school. So what do you mean these people don't care about school? Well, let me, I'm going to bring up something really quick. Olivia Jade Gillu, whatever your name is, honey. Daughter of actress Laura Loughlin, after getting into USC, I don't really even care about school. I don't care. That's not my problem. I don't care. These people don't care about school. They get into school for social capital. They get into school so that them and their parents can be part of a network. They don't get into school to really do school, but they tell you, you just got to be better and we just got to work harder. But these people ain't in school for that. Like the whole college. Listen to what she says. With work, it's going to be hard. Like my first week of school, I am leaving to go to Fiji for work, and then I'll be in New York a bunch of this year for work and traveling to different countries because I am creating something with this country, and that's for work. So I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the college experience. I like the games and the partying. I don't really care about school. Understand, our kids be in school killing ourselves to try to do school because everybody done told us that the key is to care about school and to work hard. And these little monsters ain't doing nothing. They ain't not talking about, I don't really care. It ain't my thing. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna have fun. I'm in here for the fun. I'm in here just for the fun. That's all I'm here for. I ain't here for no school. Don't nobody care about no school. Ain't nobody trying to go no school. I ain't interested. I'm gonna go to Fiji and do some other stuff. I don't know what you gonna do, and I don't care. But I'm not into school. I want to go to games. I want to party. That's about it. That's it. That's it. That's all I want to do. Now she's been honest. Like we're seeing, there was another kid I didn't even bring in the picture, but go search New York Post. There's a kid who defends his parents while smoking a blunt. What? What you did? What you said? You was smoking a blunt and you was defending the parents who cheated to get you in. See, what we have to start to understand, family, and I don't know how we do this. We have to start to understand that, like, this game is rigged, and it's not rigged in general. It's rigged specifically against us, because other people, there are avenues, and their stuff isn't. They didn't build a country, and they haven't been oppressed for 400 years. We have a very real debt, and we need to become an ownership society, an ownership class, a producing class, in order to do something because everything is wealth now. And when I say that, what I mean is even your SAT is wealth. The SATs that your kids take, it's not about how hard they study or how smart they are. It measures a narrow little gap of skills that either you can cheat for, and if you don't even cheat for them, the skills you can develop if you can fly in a tutor or do whatever. The SAT and all these tests are not a measure of who you are or your contribution to society or how much you will be beneficial at your job. These things are a measure of wealth. And when things are a measure of wealth, and you come and your family has been enslaved and had a crude disadvantage of Jim Crow and redlining and convict leasing and all of that, what happens is that is a disadvantage that does not go away unless the government not only makes us whole, but makes us a protected class against these sharks with these sharp teeth who just want to bite into everything and eat all the food. So let's keep it moving. This particular college cheating scandal began with the guy, we talked about him, his name is, we called him Bill, who ran a biz called the Edge College and Career Network, aka The Key. The man is called CW1. We talked about that because he agreed to drop the dime on the parents, hoping for a lighter sentence. Okay, now let's go to this next part. CW1 Bill, who ran this little college scammy thing, ID'd in media reports as William Rick Singer, the founder of The Key. He also founded, we already talked about that, the donations. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're gonna get through these. Let's go through these real quick. Singer actually reneged on his deal with authorities, and he tipped off some of the parents targets of the investigation. So he tipped them off, like, don't really say nothing. I don't really want you to get in trouble like that, and these people is coming. The feds is out here. The feds is watching. That resulted in him being hit with an additional charge, obstruction of justice. Good old Bill. Bill was running. Bill was like, I'm gonna need these rich people again. I'm not gonna get them in trouble. Singer had parents change the location of the SAT exam to one of the 2 test centers he controlled, a public high school in Houston. How did he get control of a public high school? And a private prep school in West Hollywood. At those places, a student would take the SAT, ACT one-on-one with the proctor, no other students. Singers paid the proctor to take the exams for the student, feed the students answers, or just correct the students' answers. I know some of this we already covered, but I want to make sure we all get this. In many of the instances, the students taking the exams were unaware that their parents had arranged this cheating, the FBI said. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Parents paid $15,000 and $75,000 per test just for this part of the cheating scheme, with the parents usually disguised as donations to Singer's charity to get their kids labeled recruited athletes. Right? We're moving. Explaining to parents, Singer said his approach is uses a side door. We talked about that side door. What we do is we help the wealthiest kids in the U.S. get their kids into school. We help the wealthiest kids in the U.S. get their kids into school. The FBI has records of Singer talking to parents. One of his main tactics was to explain to the rich how common this practice was, even as he encouraged them to keep it hush hush. Don't tell nobody, but people do this all the time. Lastly, every parent involved, they all knew what was going on, every single one. Even if they didn't understand all the details, it's very clear from the FBI transcripts that the parents knew full well what they were writing the check to buy, which was college access. Some parents did express reservations, questions about the legality, or worry about the blowback if they found out. But for the most part, they willingly wrote those checks. One guy said he had no moral qualms about it. He only worried that getting busted would mean his DD would be finished. Once Singer agreed to cooperate with the feds, all the parents and told them his foundation was being audited. He wasn't. It was just the rules. A slick way to get the parents on tape admitting to the scandal without them knowing that the feds already had the goods. So Singer called and was like, let's get our story straight. If the IRS calls, just say, you know, those donations you made were charitable, okay? Yes, of course. I get it. I understand. It's all good. These parents were not morons. They were business leaders in the business community. Throw in actors like Felicity Hartman, Lori Loughlin, and William Macy, and you can see why there's more to come. College cheating scandal. That's what you have. That's what you have, family. And what I think I want to get everybody to understand is that they did this. They did this with money. See, everybody has us caught up in this little con game, this little make-believe game where everything isn't about money. And they stole our money to create all of this. And let me tell you about the fake solidarity. Can we talk about the fake solidarity? Because when you talk about these women be all kind of Me Too and everything like that. And you be like, oh, women are oppressed too. These white women, oh my gosh, it's so sad what happens to them. Like, yes, we're all together. Meanwhile, they be saying that stuff in public. Meanwhile, on the side over here, they over here maneuvering to get their kids in school with the money they have. Now, they'll come to understand what they're doing. They are doing performance politics. They'll come to they'll come to the Women's March. You'll see a bunch of rich women at the Women's March or whatever march you want to do. But on the side, they're using their money to get their kids into a school that you can't use you ain't got no money. So we can't use our money to do that. And they won't say, well, we're in solidarity with you. We are in solidarity with you. The same thing happened right here. Let's just show this real quick. Let me see if I can find this really, really quickly. When we talk about solidarity, Georgetown rich kid gloated after allegedly cheating on the SAT. What the very interesting thing was, this is what her daddy paid. Now understand that she's Dominican technically, so she gets the diversity slot that should have been meant for us. That's why I'm in favor of quotas. But look, he was paid $8 million in compensation. He has resigned. But he was paid $8 million. He was paid $8 million. Here he is. Venture Capital. This is him. Venture Capital CEO loses job after allegedly bribing daughter's way into Georgetown. So wait a minute. He gets the diversity because that's the con of making it diversity. The same white women get it. The Dominican, he get it. It should have been just us. And let me tell you something. ADOS that come from the institution of slavery. And I'm going to tell you something else. That is exactly why I have always been in favor of quotas. You need to make it where at least 15% of your people at your school are ADOS. I'm not talking about coming from nowhere else in the world. I'm talking about ADOS right here. That's where you need to get your people from. Because what that will show you is two things. First of all, we get access because of a very specific justice claim. The second thing it shows you is this. The second thing you get is this. If you cannot find enough ADOS to go into your Ivy League schools, it makes you say, where are all the ADOS? So then what happens is you have to start fixing America, because you are obligated by government to have a quota to have these many ADOS at your school. So if you can't have these many ADOS at your school, what that means is something very specific. If you can't have that many ADOS at your school, what that means is that you got to figure out what's going on with the world. What's going on with the world that I can't find? What's going on with America that I can't find ADOS students? And then you have to figure out a way to fix that. I don't have to figure out a way to fix it. It's not my job. It's not my job to do. You have to, and understand that that's why Republicans and conservatives went so hard against quotas. That's why they went so hard, because see, the thing is, you can always game the system. If you're gonna just do like diversity, well, I can get my wife in there. Patriarchy. You got a white husband with all this money, and he gets to take, and you get to take my slot, but because we're both minorities. Or you're this girl who I just put up, and she gets to take my slot when her daddy, because she's quote unquote Dominican or whatever she is, her name is Henriquez, she gets to take my slot, but her daddy made $8 million just because we both get to fill out the diversity slot. Diversity is garbage. If you don't take anything else out of this conversation, understand that diversity is garbage. It is trash. Throw it away. There is no such thing. There is a specific group in this country that built this country and has been oppressed multi-generationally. That is our claim. I don't care about this little stupid Henriquez girl whose daddy made $8 million. When last time your daddy made $8 million? Do you know anybody whose daddy made $8 million in a year? In 2017? You can get an affirmative action slot based off who you are, Henriquez. But I can't. By what right? By what right can you do this? Because diversity. And the failure of our leadership. And let me just say this. The failure of a lot of these talking heads right now who are anti-DOS and all this trash they talking. They should just own that their failure. I don't care what picket line you was running around. I don't care what you were doing. You don't have the tools fit for this next level right here. What we doing? So just own it. Like, we did our part. It ain't work. Let them do their part. You have to know it. Listen, politics ain't a stage play is not the only time when you got to know when to leave the stage. There are other times when you got to know when to walk away too. And now is the time where you got to walk away. You did what you could do with the tools that you had during the timing that you had. Now it's time to walk away, because these people are moving and eating all of our pie. And you all are out there being stupid enough to say, well, we just have to have diversity and solidarity. That's some stupid stuff. We should have been known better than that. You know, we don't talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez coming from Yorktown. You know, Antonio, we were talking, he said something very important. He said we should actually see a Yorktown bubble above her head when she talks, because none of us, ADOS, there's a very small percentage of us in Yorktown. So that's who she's representing. She is representing the people from her district as well, hey, as I expect her to. I don't expect her to do, her people don't benefit from reparations. Why would she fight for that? Y'all better learn to get specific in terms of your advocacy and specific in terms of how you have these conversations. A lot of little weird people running around here with 1 foot in too and 1 foot in this door, and I'm going to be a little weird guy here, but I'm going to be black here and I'm going to be ADOS here. No, you got too much weird stuff going on that represents me. Just go somewhere and do your weird stuff by yourself. Nobody got time for your weird stuff. Bribing people and doing all kind of stuff. Henriquez, and y'all gonna tell Manuel Henriquez, who made $8 million. Y'all gonna be like, well, we all the same. She's Enriquez. Henriquez, her name, she Latino or Dominican or whatever. Man, you better get this woman away from me. And then let me find one more thing, because that's not all they stole, family. Understand that LBJ announced affirmative action at Howard University. It was meant for us, but guess what else they was doing? Let me show it to you. One of the prosecutors, Eric S. Rosen, said that Mr. Singer had in some cases falsified students' ethnicities and other biographical details to take advantage of affirmative action. Y'all out here stealing affirmative action? That's all we got. Y'all already stole it by just being able to say, I'm a woman, I'm Henriquez, I'm whatever. Now you stealing it this way too? Now you just changing it. Now you're not even oh my God, what kind of people are you? What kind of people are these? Ocasio-Cortez is from a white suburb. Why should she help me? And these people over here, they still affirmative act. They just change it ethnic, because there's no way ain't nobody checking ethnicities. They just switching it up. They don't care. All these they will do anything. All these parasitic communities will do anything. Side doors, changing tests. And let me tell you one other thing. We didn't even get to this, but we're going to get to it now. Federal prosecutors did not charge any students or universities with wrongdoing. Let me say that one more time. Federal prosecutors did not charge any students or universities with wrongdoing. I'm going to leave that up for a second for you. I want you to read that close. And then I want you to read this. Some parents supply staged photographs of their children engaged in athletic activity. Staged photographs. Family. You cannot tell me those kids didn't know. I don't care. You a lie. You cannot tell me they didn't know. And let me go a step further with you. I'm going to take it a step further than you cannot tell me that they did not know. Don't nobody stage no photograph of you. If your parents are predators, you know your mama's a predator, and you a baby predator. They done raised you a predator. Y'all sitting around laughing about that. You staged a photograph. They recruiting you as an athlete and you don't know? No. Let me tell you what needs to happen. I'm snatching all them kids out of school. I'm snatching them. I don't care if you in your senior year, baby. You got to go back and take the SAT on your own and go all the way through school all over again after prosecution. Because if you over 18, you're going to get prosecuted too. Or you got to go to juvie. Go to juvie. I don't care. Either way, I'm snatching you. Y'all got to stop caring so much. Because let me show you something. Don't nobody care about us. What y'all out here caring so much about other people and what they going through, and maybe they didn't know? Don't nobody care about your kids. Let me tell you something. These parents tried to get an advantage. They've got an advantage. But we get snatched off. When we have a problem, SAT, they don't have no problem figuring out that, oh, your score is wrong, and so we're going to get you because your score ain't right and it rose too much. What about these little white kids who got into school, these wealthy kids, and their score rose up? That boy I just put up, understand, this young boy who got in trouble and arrested and all this stuff with the police, that boy was 12. Y'all gonna tell me what these white kids didn't know at 17, 18, and 19? That boy was 12. You didn't tell him he's just 12. He ain't got to go to jail. How about all these athletes who get in trouble for taking gifts? Y'all don't tell me, well, they're just athletes. You know, they didn't know enough. They were just young. They didn't know enough. They didn't know. You don't care about them. You want to talk about them all the time and what they can do and what they can't do and what their responsibility was. Yank these kids' degrees. Kick them out. You didn't get in. You are stealing opportunity. You are a thief. You are a criminal, and you should be treated as such. Get him out of here. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Get him out of here. He is a baby thief and a baby shark and a baby predator, just like his parents. I don't care where he goes. I don't care whether you are a freshman, junior, a sophomore, or senior. You get kicked out, and you got to take all your tests all over again. You got to take and you got to start from day one. Because I'm going to show you Whenever we try to get any kind of advantage for our kids, this is what happens. We get kicked in the throat for just trying to get some kind of advantage. And understand that the only reason we're trying to get an advantage is because we've been beat in this system. We've been beat in this system for 400 plus years, multi-generationally. And anytime we try to get anything, we got this woman was convicted using the wrong residence to get her daughters into a better school system. She went to jail. I need all these people to go to jail. And let me tell you something. I don't need you just to go to jail. I need you to go to jail in a specific way. How come all these people got to turn themselves in? No, you don't let us turn ourselves in. I want you to kick in the door with machine guns. Kick in the door with an AK-47 and just start firing. That's what you do with us. You just kick in the door, throw in some little gun or whatever you do, and you just go crazy. I need you to do that with them too. Because understand that we're not going to get anywhere. All this crap we're doing, this garbage we're doing in terms of politics, throw that garbage politics away. Well, we just got to talk to them and we're going to figure it out. No, everything needs to be fair and equal. Since we get thrown in the garbage, throw them in the garbage. I'm not telling you everybody, no, we got to be easy on them. That's not, I don't care about fairness. I just want you to get the same stuff my people get. That's what I want. I don't care whether it's fair, whether it's good or whether it's bad. If I get it, you get it. Are we clear? Because let me show you. I can show everybody better than I can tell them. Y'all remember, and shout out to Bishop Talbot's one who put these up. Y'all remember this? She got 12 years for sending her 6-year-old son to Newark, Connecticut's Brookside Elementary School while she lived in Bridgetown. And y'all gonna tell me, when you read these articles, they say these rich parents probably won't get no time. By what right? Lock her up, lock him up, lock the whole family up and throw away the key. That's fairness. Y'all be trying to act like that this is not fair. We got to be over this because this is our time and this is our moment. Everything is being revealed. Simultaneously, lock these people up. Lock these people up, because unlike these ADOS people that I'm showing you were just trying to get an advantage because they knew they were on the bottom and they were trying to figure some stuff out. They're not predators. They did not have an intention to harm anything. They were just trying to get out of this horrible box that we as ADOS people have been put in. But these other people that we just showed you, these are predators. These people are a threat. These are super predators. And I'm going to tell you like Hillary Clinton told me. Hillary Clinton said, bring them to heal. Well, look what I want to do. I want to bring these people to heal. These people are predators. I cannot exist in an America where these people are allowed to run free. These people who steal opportunity and steal education. I cannot exist in a community where these people are stealing my ability. I cannot be free. I am afraid for my life with these rich people running around stealing everything from everybody. They have to be brought to heel. They are predators. They are a problem. They are a scourge. They are a cancer. They have to be brought to heel. They have to be brought to heel. Hillary Clinton was right. There are super predators among us. But we just not them. Listen, you all had no problem. Listen, America, when the Atlanta teaching scandal happened, y'all had no problem arresting teachers and putting them, teachers and administrators, and putting them in jail. You had no problem. Even though these teachers and administrators were put in a really bad position based on No Child Left Behind. See, let me tell you, family, let me slow down. Let me tell you what happened. They set us up to fail. They know that these kids are in poor communities. They know that like our kids are not only in poor communities, but are impoverished. And instead of giving us the wealth and the positionality to make us whole, what they do is very specific. They go in and say, I'm gonna raise the standards. I'm gonna raise it to a standard that I know you can't meet. And when you can't meet it, I'm gonna take over your school. I'm gonna get your teachers in jail. I'm gonna turn this into a charter school. I'm gonna destroy your community, and I'm gonna destroy the teachers in your community. Understand that like so much of the black middle, what exists as a black middle class is built off like teachers and postal workers. I'm gonna destroy all of that. I'm gonna take all of that back from y'all. I'm not just putting teachers in jail. I'm taking back teaching jobs so that y'all can stay on the bottom. Understand that this is all intentional and it is targeted at us. We are targets of this system, and these people have to be brought to heel. Now, understand, I want to ask you something. We need fair treatment and we need protection. That's what we're talking about in reparations. Reparations isn't just about giving money. Reparations is about ownership. Reparations is about us having production that we did not have in the past. We need that. There is no way to compete with these sharks who are running around with sharp teeth and eating everything without that. You have to understand that. And you have to understand that that's where our advocacy comes from. That's what our advocacy is built on. And that's why this is the moment for it. Because what they're going to do, they're about to replace us now. They're going to replace us with immigrants and mechanization. And if you don't have the wealth to move and compete within this system, it is going to be over. Beverly Hall, who was superintendent and got charged with crime, she died of cancer. I don't know what role these charges played. And I remember having conversation with a lot of black leftists back then. And I was like, this is awful what's happening to them. Because he's like, no, they deserve to go to jail. Y'all so smart though, right? Just go back to your Marx or whatever you go back to, because you're not advocating for our people. I don't know who you're advocating for, but you're not advocating for us. And that is a problem. And understand something else. Since we're talking about, because since we're also talking about, one of the things that we're having a conversation about right now is not just who got it right, but one of the things we're talking about is who got it wrong. Just off the side. We need to demand that these parents go to prison and that there's a national review countrywide, right? Because that's what has to happen. You can't just prosecute. I want to know where else is happening. And I want to know just outside the Ivies. Because I'm sure whenever you see these Ivies doing one thing, there are all sorts of little shadows doing it too. Like people doing it in these little shadow places, which are not, like, it's not an Ivy League school, but we still got these little relationships. Because remember, we don't have no social capital. They have social capital. Understand what that means. So we need to make sure that that happens as well. We got teachers still going to jail over the Atlanta educator scandal, the Atlanta teacher scandal. But you're going to tell me these white women with all this money and all this wealth and all these white families and this white patriarchy, they don't go to prison? Lock her up. We ought to be outraged that these kids aren't kicked out of school and that these parents aren't going to prison. I mean, long terms. Nah, baby, go in there and do your 10 years because you stole opportunity. There's a kid somewhere who didn't get into that school because of that, they had met their thing. Thanks, Virginia from Virginia. But there are kids who did not get into school. Your son or daughter, ADOS, didn't get an athletic scholarship because these people were lying about being a part of the rowing team or the soccer team. I mean, understand what I know we talked about it, but Stanford said Tuesday that Vandermoor, or whatever the name is, had been fired. The University of Texas at Austin released a statement. Understand how awful this is. Tuesday saying that its men's coach, Michael Center, has been placed on leave. And USC, what are these people, these names? Donna Hanel, a top athletic director, and Jovan Vavic, the men's and women's water polo coach, was terminated. Miss Hanel received more than 1.3 million in bribes, and Mr. Vavic, about 250,000, according to federal prosecutors. A teenage girl who did not play soccer magically became a soccer star recruit at Yale. Cost to her parents $1.2 million. A high school boy eager to enroll at the University of Southern California was falsely deemed to have a learning disability. They doing the learning disabilities, fam. They doing everything. These are con artists. Lock them up. They are cancers to society. Was falsely deemed to have a learning disability so he could take a standardized test with a complicit proctor. And lock these proctors up too, who would make sure he got the right score. Cost to his parents at least $50,000. Lock them up. got these people described as co-captains of prominent soccer clubs in Southern California in order to be recruited for the Yale women's soccer team. Lock them up. They should be in jail. Lock them up. Lock them up. And I think we have to. See, the thing is about a lot of the other people that really don't understand what we're saying. I think there is a sort of kind of misunderstanding. I don't think a lot of, and I'm not trying to be dismissive, I'm not trying to be reductionist, but there are people who are in our ADOS community as activists, and they're older activists who still try to find solidarity where there is none. These people have to get thrown in jail. Like, you don't get prison reform until them and their kids get thrown in jail. Then you'll get reform. But we have to change our positionality on the hierarchy. It's about changing that. We are an exploitation group right now. We are a failure group. Everybody is like kind of parasitic and just sucks a tube into us and drains us dry, and we have nothing. You have to change that. And what I want to say also is this. And I want to make sure everybody understands it. Because, and let me see if I can find the image that kind of goes with it. Because everybody needs to understand this last bit. The first thing that you have to understand is that a federal guarantee, a federal jobs guarantee doesn't solve this problem. A universal basic income doesn't solve this problem. Because let me tell you what happened with universal basic income. Everybody just raises the prices. Everybody has more money, we're going to raise the prices. You back on the bottom, but the government is saying, well, we gave you money, we're not going to do anything. You only get one big program a generation. If that. So if you only get one big program in a generation, why would not you want the debt that you're owed? Why would you want some trickle-down universal garbage? I don't know the truth. I don't know whether the people who are talking against reparations are really stupid as ADOS people, or whether they just don't understand that this UBI and this federal jobs guarantee, listen, if you want to do that for society, that's fine. But you got to do it after you pay us. Because of our contribution and our justice claim. Multi-generational, no other group has it. You do that after we get our money. And that's how you get us to come aboard on the left. You don't do that by coming on the Breakfast Club and talking about how, well, what would it mean? I don't know. No. Well, I don't know. Well, if you don't know what it means, Bernie, I don't know how to vote for you come the election. I don't know. What is Bernie? I don't know. I can play stupid too. And I want you to understand this. I want you to understand one thing. There is before I go to break and all that, there is an even bigger indictment here. This is not just an indictment of this specific scam that I'm sure is a national scam. There's a bigger indictment here. Let me show you this. The Yale dad who set off the college admissions scandal. Understand something. We have had people, not just the ones I've spoke of, but talk about how buying stocks is the answer. Or you buy you one Nike stock for Christmas or two Nike stocks, and next week you have three Nike stocks, and you can piece them Nike stocks together. Now I want to show you what this Yale dad did and what he was working on that set this whole thing up. This is from the Wall Street Journal. The tipster who led federal authorities to the biggest college admissions scam they have ever prosecuted was Maury Tobin, a Los Angeles financial executive who was being investigated in a securities fraud case. According to a person familiar with the investigation, Mr. Tobin was questioned in an alleged pump and dump investment scheme in which people conspire to inflate the price of a stock so they can sell it at a profit, when he offered a tip to federal authorities in an effort to obtain leniency, according to people familiar with the matter. Mr. Tobin, who attended Yale University, told investigators that the head women's soccer coach at Yale had sought a bribe to return to getting his daughter in return for getting his daughter into the Ivy League school. A person familiar with the investigation said. Now understand something. What they're telling you right there is that they done rigged the whole system. When I first did this whole thing about stocks and about crypto and all this, one of the things that I said was that these people game the system. They'll get you involved and pump it up just so they can dump it. There are sharks and there are minnows. There are sharks and there are sardines. And America has made us a sardine. It ain't nothing we did. Every time we tried to grow big and build up something, they slapped us down, stole it, and threw it away. Understand, I told everybody, I said, these are sharks, and they are pumping it up. And we've seen that with stocks. We've seen that with crypto. We've seen that with everything. We've seen these people pump up stuff and dump it. It's not just college that they're gaming with their wealth. And they are awful. But what I'm telling you is the only way that we can be there and even compete with these awful scourges, super predators who are laying way to America, the only way you can do that is with wealth. Wealth is the whole ball game, and we were the tools that people use to create wealth. That is the ball game. That has been the ball game, and we're in the richest country in America. I mean, in the world. We can't pretend like we're in some third world country where we can just figure stuff out with sticks. No, when you talk about wealth going to 2053 in the year, going to zero, black wealth going to zero in 2053, what you're talking about is extinction. What you are talking about when you say having no wealth in the richest country in the world, you are talking about not being able to have a life. This is a life or death situation. This is not something, well, it would be nice, but whatever. And see, if you're listening to the Congressional Black Caucus or whoever, then you don't understand, because, or you listen to Roland Martin, those people are having good lives. They're dancing around in pillows. They're having wonderful times. But the rest of us know what real life looks like. And let me just show you something. If I can find it, I just want to bring one thing home before we go to break, if I can. Because there's something else that's quite curious that's going on in terms of the whole scandal and how it's all rigged and all of that stuff. There was I don't know how many of you all saw it the other day. I can't remember what day it was. I thought I had it here, but I don't see it. If I find it, I'll put it up. But the Congressional Black Caucus did some kind of dreamers thing. And understand that they're doing that because they have money that we don't have. So they've just kind of turned their backs on us and said, we got to go where the money is because we're prostitutes. That's what we're doing. And so the idea that there's some kind of sameness in terms of diversity or whatever, this is just ridiculous. There is no sameness. We have no friends. All we have are shared interests where we can find them. But we have no friends, and we never have. And what we have to do now is understand that. This is when you talk about how Stacey Abrams lost to Kemp. When you talk about all of that, everything is gamed. They're gaming everything from votes to college to stocks. Everything is set. You have to rearrange the whole thing. That's how we change our positionality on the hierarchy. You have to turn that whole thing upside down. All this little garbage everybody's talking about, we got to get together. We can march together. Solidarity. No, not going to work. Not going to work. It's garbage. We'll still be on the bottom. You get a job guarantee. You will be somewhat changing baby diapers, making 15 a year or 20 a year. That doesn't change the positionality or give us what we're owed in terms of our debt. And you can't keep saying, well, we're going to do it next time. We just got to get Trump out of there. No, he's your white man. He's your problem. You get him out of there. Flatfoot. They ain't got nothing to do with us. So I'm coming up on 59 minutes. So I'm going to break really quick. When I come back, we will have the calls as usual. Give me like 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, set the phones up, and we'll have the conversation, fam. So let's keep your comments concise because I know some people are going to have a lot to say. And during the break, fam, if you haven't hit that like button, hit the like button for me. Thank you. Fam, I be DJing bombs into the thing. Listen, this is what it is. I DJ everything into everything, and the sirens. I just mix them up in there. By the time all this is over with, I'm gonna be a DJ. I just mix everything up, cause that's what. Listen, that's what I need people to hear. I didn't get a chance to even get all of my stuff in. Understand that. So y'all real stingy with the like button. Some of y'all who in there. Anyway, I am going to go to 310. What's going on?
What up, y'all? It's Tone Talks. I'm just telling y'all, I'm looking at on Instagram, and Beto has announced, and what he said is he gonna defend immigrants, he about climate change and LGBTs, and he also said, general equality. So y'all that love Beto, he ain't said nothing about reparations. Just telling y'all. I'm coming into this topic, and I'm just saying to y'all, it's kind of like not about I told y'all so. It's more so like we're here now, and y'all got a choice to just like kind of wither out or stand up to the reality of what this means. We're putting up a chart right now, and again, it shows 3 lines rather than 2 because it shows the third line that we don't show sometimes. So the bottom 90 and the top 0.1 have the same amount of wealth again, but there's a third line of the 9.9. Understand that the stuff we're looking at is just the 9.9. The stuff that just came out, that's the actions of the 9.9. That isn't even the actions of the top 0.1. The top 0.1 come through the back door. The 9.9 come through the side door. So the bottom 90 has the same amount of wealth as the top 0.1. First sign since the Depression. Look at the 9.9. So between the top 9.9% and the 0.1, which is the top 10%, they got like 75, 78% of all the wealth. And so what you see is it's this, the amount of wealth that the 9.9 has, and they fight. They call themselves the working rich.
Wow.
Worth $2 million and $3 million. Pretty much, Black America has nobody in the top 0.1. We might have 10 people in the top 0.1. We have those 340,000 Black families that are north of 1.2 are all in the 9.9, and they're at the bottom of the 9.9. We don't have a wealth class. Our whole race is pretty much in the bottom 90, and we're actually in the bottom half of the bottom 90. But we want to go to Stanford, UCLA, and USC, and send our kids there to be next to these people. And I say this to you to say, this brings about a very big question about, or a way to illuminate that reparations is not just about wealth. It's about a repairing of the nation's soul and our view of ourselves. I know a lot of y'all got white friends, and y'all love them to death. I honestly can tell y'all, I don't talk to many, like white people on a friendship level, not by week, not by month. I pretty much talk to Yvette. I got a couple other Black friends. For a lot of y'all having a conundrum because you love Jerry Seinfeld. You love the things that white people do. But we here now, we having a discussion about the access that white people have that you don't. And so what I look at is, what does this mean for ADOS, this whole scandal? Well, the first thing it means is y'all see y'all locked out now. Ain't no more closing your eyes. Even if you get your kids into UCLA or USC, they not gonna be on the yacht. So they found Olivia J, Aunt Becky's daughter, on the yacht of a high-ranking USC official when all this scandal came down. So even if your kid gets in to UNC through the front door, they're not going to get invited to the yacht. And so I say this to you, what we got to understand about reparations, this is a repairing of the nation's soul, they got to go to prison. And not just the mama, the daughter, not just take her degree. She's a co-conspirator. Like, we talking about 19 and 20-year-old people that posed in photos and everything else. Everybody got to go to jail. They got a juvie jail for her. They sent the little boy that was 12 years old to prison for selling CDs. I'm saying to you, the self-evaluation we have to have is, what are we going to demand from this? Like I just posted a tweet. I said, black voters went to prison. Black women going to prison for 10 months for voting wrong. Black mothers went to prison for nothing short of helping one of their kids go to better school district. Black teachers went to prison for 13. The lady got 13 years probation and 8 years in federal prison. Never committed a crime before. And you got these people that are about to get probation. You should be lit.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about reparations, it's not just you getting money. It's you demanding that these white women go to prison. And if they don't get prison, we might have to march on Washington. Because this is craziness. See, like when
you still there, Tom?
When you talk about crime, hello?
I can hear you now.
You still there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you talk about crime and everything else, part of what you see is we try to avoid people that have traits that don't seem like they can be fixed. They're high-level recidivists. These people have displayed the kind of traits that can make them into a scourge, that make them into a scourge for everybody else. And they need to be separated from us so that we can live. But the question is, how deep does it go? They found these 40 people on accident. They found these 40 families on accident. So what happens with the rest of the people? And so, like I'm saying, that we need to demand a national review of who else was involved with this. And I don't know if American DOS are ready to do that work. They need to tell us everybody who's been doing this. Because you remember what Yvette said, there's a front door, a back door, and a side door. Ain't nobody gonna get mad about the back door? Look at Jared Kushner. I'll give you an example. He donated the maximum to his state, to his senator, his state senator, since he was 11. I don't know how an 11-year-old does that. When it comes time to go to Harvard, the senator writes his letter of recommendation. This is the back door. And I'm saying to you, I don't know if you know, like, what happens next to you and your family and for the race. We get shut out. And I just want to say, this ultimately points also to something I've said to you guys for a very long time. The fundamental flaw of black feminism has been the avoidance of dealing with white women. I don't know if what y'all gonna do with yourselves. White women are attached to white family, and white family is the actor that uses the wealth made from white patriarchy. There isn't this idea of a gap between black women and white men, and white women and black men. It's black families and white families. Y'all want to keep y'all job and be teachers and professors, and you don't want to upset the boss of the white woman. That's for y'all. But I'm telling you right now, what this brings to the table is that white families are the scourge, and what's not happening is an addressing of how they are acting out that scourge behavior, from the children to the mom to the dad. We just want to deal with white patriarchy. We want to let white women do Me Too and march and everything else. And I'm just saying this to say, can you bring up the last thing, the incarceration chart? Because I think one of the things that we see these numbers, we see all these black men going to prison, highest incarceration rate in the world. But then somehow this woman is going to get a slap on the wrist. They trying to give her probation. They done already let her, she can go in and out the country to finish filming. We don't even have a mugshot. You know, when it's R. Kelly, anybody else, we get the mugshot. This is awful. Like, there's a reason that no white women are in prison. It's not that they don't do crime. It's that when they do crime, we allow them to make themselves into victims. We have the new article that just came out that basically said that the daughters of Aunt Becky have now checked out of the school. This woman is 20, I think the other one is 22 or something like that. These are grown women. All three women should go to prison. And so, like, what you see is that they start saying, well, they're scared of being bullied at USC. It ain't even happened yet, and they framing themselves as victims when they created a fundamental problem for the whole of society. I'm just saying to y'all that this is the moment to recognize not only that you've been mistreated, not only that these people cheated, but that this is the epicenter of why reparations is so important and why no class-based initiative makes you American or whole. You have to be with us on this one. You have to demand that these people go to prison. The CBC should be demanding that these people go to prison. But you know what the CBC is talking about? Dreamers stuff today. In fact, they marching for women's rights. Kamala Harris ain't said nothing about this scandal to what I know. She's talking about whether Pence is taking private meetings. This woman here on the CBC, she's a daughter of immigrants. She's so busy talking about this. This is the biggest scandal that in terms of race inequality in a generation. This college scandal. What are these people talking about? That's all right, though. ADOS going to be getting strong pretty soon, and people going to have to recognize. Oh, I'll let the other people get in.
All right.
Oh, also, I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the 10 Takeaway. Tune in on Dash Radio or YouTube. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Tom. As always, Antonio bringing the fire as usual, as is usual. Yeah, I think that's what we that has to happen. See, one of the things that has to happen with our generation, because I don't know, like not our generation. I'm Generation X, and I'm not talking about millennials now. I'm talking about the old heads. Like, well, we all ain't gotta do nothing, and don't nobody think that way but us. We all ain't gotta do nothing. Let's talk about what ADOS have to do. Let's talk very specifically about what our responsibilities are here. And let's talk very specifically about how we're locked out here. I don't care whether you marched around the food circle. We all appreciated that in 1974. We all appreciate everything that you did in that period. But you don't understand that this is a new era and timing matters. How we move matters. What we do matters. And how we influence matters. Don't nobody care about what you saying or all these little weird people on the internet, child. You ain't doing nothing. Like, understand that ADOS, understand that me, Antonio, and all the ADOS people who are doing this work online are the reason that the presidential candidates are debating reparations right now as opposed to DACA. I don't know what you talking about on your little YouTube. I don't know what you talking about on your little website. But over here in ADOS camp, we're doing real work. And we have just kicked you to the side. And somebody said, well, you got to address this event. No, I don't. Them people is kids. I don't play with other people's children. I try not to. So I'm going to my next call now. I'm going to 704. 704. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, this is Charlotte ADOS in the building, but I'm originally from New York City, and I just want to share a quick story with you all.
Okay.
Back in 2010, my son was enrolled in a program called Prep for Prep, and I don't know how many of you all know about the Prep for Prep program, but basically it's a preparatory program that prepares you for schools, and some of the schools on the list are in New York, that is, are Fieldston Academy, Columbia Prep, Browning, very, 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 very good schools. So anyway, it's a weekly program that my son was enrolled in. And every weekend, every Saturday morning, we would get up and we would go, and I would sit in the auditorium while my son was upstairs testing. And I just noticed that every weekend, I didn't see any other parents that looked like me. This is a program for students of color, specifically black students. Okay, and everybody that was sitting around me, all the other parents waiting for our children to come down after testing every weekend, were white women. So I wondered why, with this program being for students of color, why all the other parents that were waiting with me were white women, until I saw the children of these white women come downstairs, and they were all biracial. So they have indeed found another way to circumvent the, getting into these schools. they weren't, they found a way for these, for students to get admitted into the prep schools using this program that is meant for students of color. So I just wanted to just leave that comment with you all. I don't know what else more we need to see, family. And, it's time that, something that we put our feet down and do something about that, because it's unfair. Like I said, nothing but white women in this program with their biracial children. So I just wanted to say that there. Thank you for the time.
Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it. Thank you for. I appreciate people who be in these rooms, talking about what actually happens and what they see. I mean, it's a lot of people who are doing all kinds of stuff, talking about I support Beto O'Rourke and I support Bernie, and y'all do a lot of weird stuff. It's a lot of I'm not saying that you have to police behavior, but you can't be talking like you all down with ADOS life, and then when you start talking, you got 100 white friends that is your best friends. What you talking about? Well, then talk about universalism. Don't do this. I'm down for black people stuff. Get out of my lane then. That's what I want you to do. Just get out of my lane. You're in my way. So I'm going to my next call. I am going to 909. 909, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. This is Anthony from San Bernardino. It's been a long time.
What's going on, Anthony? How you feeling?
Oh, girl, I love hearing your show. Every time I get the opportunity to get on the air, I just feel lucky.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, bro.
I drive trucks out here in San Bernardino, and I had some points that I wanted to go over.
Okay.
I do nothing but just sit up on YouTube, and I just love to hear you guys talk. But I have some questions. My first question is, there's so much I just don't know.
Okay.
And I always realize that with every problem, it constantly changes over time. I remember you was on the phone with me, how you saying how slavery has been rebirthed to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And my question is exactly, what is affirmative action? Exactly, who is affirmative action for? Because I don't think a lot of us really know that, and I don't think a lot of us understand the context of racism in the context of affirmative action.
Well,
and
yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but I mean, LBJ announced it at Howard University. I think it's clear who it was intended for. Who it's used for now is a different story.
I remember looking at something, and they were using words that I really don't know anything about. They were talking about quotas and numbers and who they were going to let in context of who they were going to get college admissions and things like that. And I was wondering, when I remember, thanks Tone for giving me some more insight and a lot of data, because when he talks about people that are in higher power, such as our president, also Obama, who had the financial support. What about ADOS, who doesn't have the financial support? I question, what exactly do the rich have to complain about, and all these other people that are getting all these things complaining about, when we're eating all the failure? I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, they're not complaining. They're really not complaining. What they're doing, they're just it's the only way I can explain it is like a cancer, right? So they're all competing against each other. They don't care about us. But they're all, rich people are, there are different sections of wealth that are competing against sections of wealth. There's old wealth that's competing against wealth from the finance sector, like JP Morgan, and the people who work on Wall Street. There are all these different, there are sections of wealth where the people who make bombs and work in the military industrial complex are competing against wealthy people are competing against each other. And they're all exploiting us in terms of that competition. So do they have anything to complain about? No, but they don't care. That's where the example of them as a cancer comes in. They don't care. They just want more, and they want to win, and they want to position their kids. So the reason they want your kid to go to USC, the reason you want your kid to go to USC is because you want that kid to be in this top. You want that kid to be here. Like, I'm going to pull up this chart one more time. Like, you don't want your kid, like if you in the 9, you want your kid in the .01, and you want to get your kid to a position. You want to bring that kid up so that he can be in there and he has access to the people who are already there or who are headed there. That's the kind of competition that these people are doing. That's the kind of competition they're moving. Like, we're just trying to eat. These people are trying to move into like different sectors of power. Like, we're the top 10, but I'm trying to move my kid in that top 1, and I know who they have to talk to. I know where the social capital is there and who they have to meet. I know whose kids are already going here and who they got to meet. They are maneuvering in a way that we can't even really comprehend. But we should, with everything we have, we should stop it and advocate these people be locked up for a very long time. Because these people had no problem taking us off the board. They took us off the board to use us as stuff to make them rich, to use us as tool for their wealth. I want them off the board. I want you in a prison somewhere near me or far away because you're a predator. I don't like predators near me. I don't like no predators. But you got to go to jail. It's just what it is.
When I have a bill due or a debt due, I have to pay, despite my situations, despite whatever it is that I'm going through. I have to pay that debt. Mm-hmm. Knowing that factor of having a debt that needs to be paid, it's like they're looking at us as like this bill collector that they just want to keep hanging the phone up over and over again because they know this bill collector is coming. These reparations are really due, and it's way beyond just a check or something else that they just want to file for bankruptcy or something and say, well, we can't pay that. Look at all these potholes we got on the street that we need to fix. And look at all this other stuff that we have to do. But for you ADOS, you guys have to wait. But how long can we wait? How much longer can we go through this context of understanding that if we don't get what we're owed, we're dead.
Well, not only that, and like I share this chart all the time, but like this is where we are. Like, forget that chart with the top 1 and the top 9. Like, this is where we are. This is where we are. Like the dying boomer class is the only one that have anything, and you didn't see none of them in that report for the most part. And even if you did, it would mean like you got 1 Negro. That don't even register on the charts, or 2 Negro. Like, understand, this is where we are. Like, we're the bottom 50% of black households have is worth less than $1. And we're sitting here like we should be enraged, like the lack of rage amongst us in terms of like advocacy. Let's get out here. Let's do the reparations now. Let's do this. I don't understand. And I think the only reason that it makes sense is that we're led by people like Angela Rye and Simone Sanders, who are living good lives and just lying to us about the lives that we're living and how, well, we just got to get Trump out of there. No, we got to get reparations. That's what we got to get. We're in the bottom. We're in the bottom. We're in the bottom.
This is my last comment.
Go ahead.
Right. And I'm sorry. But what people get so frustrated with you and Tom and Dr. Cosby and everybody is you guys come with this information. You come with it. It seems like we're in a society of popcorn generational thinkers where we just, okay, well, what's the solution? Well, what's the solution? We're coming with these things. And then I remember hearing, it was a Dr. Phil Valentine say that a problem is like a chameleon. It just changes and it becomes a new problem. So we have to continuously describe it. We have to continuously figure out the new equations or what's going on with this problem in order for us to come with a full solution. And it just seems like nobody wants to take the data that you and Tone are continuously putting out there. They keep saying, well, I hear that. So what are we going to do about it? Like, you guys can solve it in 20 minutes, a 400-year problem.
Yeah, the only way we can solve racism in a show. But the only way we solve all of that is as a group, as a collective, we solve it. We don't solve it individually. We solve it by taking this data as a group and actualizing it in a way that affects our politics, in a way that gets us justice, restorative justice through reparations. That's how we solve it. That is how we solve it. That is the solution. It is the only solution. There is no universal solution. That is garbage. That is trash. Like, understand how crazy it is. Like, think about this, fam. We are sitting here talking, all of us right now, about these kids cheating their way into, scamming their way into, criming their way into UCLA, Stanford, all this stuff. Think about how crazy it is for you to talk about how your kid wants to go to one of these schools when you understand what these white rich parents had to do and what they had to pay to get their kids into this school. That shows you that you're shut out. And that shows you that immigration of black immigrants who were also elite was used to mask that we're shut out. You cannot get into these schools. If these parents had to do this, what does that tell us about how we're locked out? If a wealthy white parent has to pay their way into the school, how do we as ADOS people who are on the bottom and have been disenfranchised and oppressed for 400 years, how do you think you're going to get your kid into that school? How?
My question, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish up.
I'm sorry. My question is this again. I'm sorry, but I keep having questions, and I know we got to get fed. But my question is, I continuously talk to people, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, and they keep saying, "Well, we're just not going to get this. We're not going to get it." I don't know why you keep saying that, and why are you using? I know, just please. Why are you using this country? This country doesn't care anything about us. That whatever.
Hold on, fam. Like, hold on. I hear you, but let me just say something. Like, if you talk to somebody like that and they say, like, well, this country just doesn't care about us, and like we're not gonna get it, just tell that person something very simple. Just be prepared to fail, and your child fails. Like, I don't want to hear, like, listen, if that's what you believe, if what you believe is that, well, this country's never going to give us anything, give your son or daughter a map to drive Uber at 1 a.m. I don't want to hear nothing about how they got locked up, because I told you mass incarceration is a part of it. Don't call me when your kid get locked up. Don't call me when your kid ain't got a job. Don't call me when you ain't got baloney money. I don't want to hear about it. Figure your stuff out. Because when I was trying to do advocacy to get us the money that we needed, you told me it was never going to happen. So now you got to figure your life out. Get it how you live, baby. Get it how you live. However you live, you get your money how you live. Because if you feel that way, that it's never going to happen and you're not going to join up, you have to live this America that ADOS has been built into. This America that we're being positioned into. This America wants us to drive Uber and shut up. That's it. And if you die, you die. So when your kid don't have money for dialysis or got some kind, I don't want to be a part of your crowdfunding. Don't send me your crowdfunding link if that's what you said. If you said we're never gonna get, I don't know why you want to wonder about. I don't know. Well, don't send me your crowdfunding link. They just gotta die. That's what it is. If you're not prepared to do this work, that's what your kid's life looks like. That's what your life looks like. So if you don't want to do the work, I don't want to hear about it. Just get it how you live. If you never heard that phrase, you need to come to the South, because get it how you live means whatever you do. Whether you dealing, whether you prostitute, whatever you do, you get it how you live. So finish up for me, fam.
Oh, no. That's that's enough. I thank you. I thank Tone. I thank you guys for giving us just some dialogue, because it's just so hard to have this dialogue when you have a whole bunch of people that are just being hot, Bernie Sanders, hot-headed. Well, we don't have a check ready for you. You got so many of these Roland Martin, just people that just don't really have any interest in supporting us, because they're already being supported by the dominant society.
Yeah, I agree. I want to thank you, fam, for calling. I appreciate it. I'm gonna cut you off so I can go to another call. But I appreciate it. You gotta think, if these people are paying like $1 million to get in, what are they paying during school for their kid? What are they paying after school? That's what we call in-life transfers, in-life wealth transfers. What are they paying after that kid gets into school and after that kid graduates? What are they paying? And how do you think you're going to compete with that as a descendant of slavery? Like, you come from slaves who tried to do a whole bunch of stuff for Reconstruction. The Klan came out. They stole stuff. They killed people. We came back from the war in 1919. Read that book. And they came in and they did a bunch of other stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, what do you think this leads? This whole thing of what's never going to happen. It leads to, well, I can't pay for your funeral then. You told me we never going to get it. Well, Yvette, we can't talk about that right now. I just need to bury it. I don't care. You told me that it's never going to happen and I shouldn't talk about it. I told you that's the only thing that we need to talk about, and you told me no. See, we have to start giving these people consequences too. You said no. You said it's never going to happen. We got to do for self and all that stuff. Okay, you get it how you live. You figure it out. I wish you the best of luck. Don't you call my phone no more. I have blocked so many people. In the past 3 years, I have blocked more people than a little bit. Don't you call my phone no more. Don't you call my phone when you told me, or you went on TV or said something stupid, or you went on the internet and said something about how we going to got to do. Don't you call my phone no more. I don't care. I don't tell nobody no more they're being blocked on my phone. I just block. I don't have to have a conversation with you and tell you what. You ought to know when you get blocked what it's for. Don't you call me. Don't you email me. I'll block you on Gmail too. I don't care. And we all have to get to that space. I'm going to 651 now. 651, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? You there, 651? Y'all be going to get snacks or whatever y'all be doing and not on the phone. You can't get snacks. We trying to have a conversation. It's not snack time. Yeah, too late. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to 404. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Yvette.
Good evening.
And the Breaking Brown family. Yvette, my blood was boiling. My blood was boiling when that story broke. Yvette, it was boiling. My son, he graduated in 2017, and that college admission process is crazy, to say that for the lack of a better term. It's crazy. And one of the things that I did was that I went out and I purchased a book that lists all of the schools according to the majors, the top schools according to the majors. Okay. Now, my son is a techie. He loves computers, and he wanted to go. And it lists, all the schools, and it broke down each school, and it gave the breakdown of the student body by race, right? And Yvette, I tell you the truth, if I'm not mistaken, it's been 2 years now. And all of those schools in that book, and we looked through all of them, the African American student body was less than 5% on each one of those campuses. No matter which degree that the kid wants to go into, less than 5%. Now, my child wanted to go to the top school. He worked his behind off. He did that. In fact, he took all those AP classes, and I tell you the truth, if they would have offered AP physical education, he would have did that too. Okay? Trying to take all the right classes, okay?
Me and him both. So, I remember the days.
So he got waitlisted on a whole bunch. He did get into some grades. He got accepted into some. He got waitlisted into some. But of the ones that he was accepted into, he wanted to find out which had the best computer science department, and that's where he chose to go. Okay. So, having said all that, to find out that these people have been writing checks to get in the schools when their kids didn't even qualify that. People were taking the SAT exams for them. And then there was one report to where the reporter said that the parent didn't want the child to know that someone took the exam for them, so they had them send to her a copy of the test so the child could take the test at home, Yvette. You know that you have to give almost a doggone blood sample to get into those testing sites. And I'm thinking to myself, how did they do that? How did they read that? Okay? Now, I got a question for you. It hasn't been brought up, but it's something to think about. All these parents that got their kids into these schools under their athletic or non-athletic ability,
ain't that something?
But, paid off the coaches and stuff. Did these kids get scholarships for getting
they got scholarships or they just got in as a recruit. Like I think a lot of them just got in because they said it like this kid is a recruit. We're recruiting this kid, and then they got in and were able to say, well, I don't want to play, or I don't want to do the sport no more.
But they to get in under a athletic, get in under athletics as their main source of getting in is the athletic ability.
Yeah.
Then they would be eligible for those athletic scholarships.
Yeah, they would be available to them. But I think and some of them might have done it, but I think what most of them did, like get in as a recruit and then be like, no, I don't want to play or whatever. But you in now. So now you just got to pay because you got in as a recruit. So that means you got to pay for school or whatever, but you don't have to necessarily play. Oh, it's a scam. Because if you ain't never rolled or played soccer before, you can't learn to play soccer once you get to college. You would just use that to get in.
No, you didn't. I know you cannot. But Yvette, I mean, think about the mentality of the people that we're talking about. Do you honestly think that those very people would turn down a scholarship if it was offered to their children?
No, I don't think so. I just think that once they get out there on that grass, I think things will look very different.
Right.
So I think but see, they had money to burn. They had money to burn too. Money. So I just need my kid to get in that door.
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting, but wait a minute. By the time they got on the grass, the education was paid for. They didn't get to the grass and then mom and dad.
Oh, so you saying they got the scholarship and never stepped on the grass?
That's what I'm saying. What is the offer of them not accepting the scholarship?
Now that's interesting.
They can report that, but that's just me thinking.
That requires further investigation. That's interesting. If you accepted a scholarship as a recruit, but then you just didn't step on the grass, but you already got some money. That's very interesting. That deserves further investigation. I don't know.
Exactly, and then lastly, there was a report today that it was almost 750 people involved in this scam. But I dare say, Yvette, they need to cast that net out wider. I'm willing to bet that this thing happened all over this country. I mean, granted it did, but there's more people involved in that. More people. And here's the thing. They need to, for them to say that the kids didn't know. What do they think they were posing for taking a picture? They knew. You wasn't on the rowing team, huh?
I said they knew. They knew,
Yvette. They take the degrees, throw the kids out of school, put them in jail, and I don't mean probation. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to say, Yvette. Now, these folks just didn't do that college scam. White folks been doing that for a long time. It was told that George Bush got into college under affirmative action. You remember hearing that?
No, I ain't never heard that.
Oh, yeah, that was an urban legend. He got in under affirmative action. Okay, so now, having said that, these people actually committed tax fraud when they decided to go and make the payment through a charity and then write it off. Yvette, that's tax fraud. That's tax fraud.
So why they shouldn't go to jail? Shouldn't they go to jail? There's a lot of fraud going on. Shouldn't they go to jail?
You would think so. They need to be in jail. So now if Uncle Sam, the Treasury Department, is going to, the Federal Reserve going to allow them to get away with tax fraud like this, then that is a real problem. Because it's been my understanding that there's no color, only the color of green matter to those IRS people. Everybody else, you either pay or go to jail. And they need to be in jail.
Oh, well, thank you, fam. I appreciate the commentary. We're gonna talk some more. But I appreciate the commentary. I'm going to 760 right now. 760. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. My name is Marlon from Oceanside, California.
What's going on?
I'm from your show and everything, like Tone, yourself, Alexander, Otis. Look, if we begin to understand, everything was built off a scam, right? So if we're not willing to fight, and they know they want to put us in the ground, and that's it. So I don't understand why people don't get on with the operations. I don't understand. But I do realize that because it's got to be willful, it's either a knowing or a caring problem. If you all know the facts, then you just don't care. And if you just don't care, I got to throw you and the bathwater away because you're never going to help.
Ooh.
Like you said, you just cut out people out of your life that don't freaking want to be a part of this.
Block.
Or talk about that bull. You just got to say no more, man, because you're always going to be a treacherous. You're always going to be like that Mark Vesey. You're always going to be a treacherous Negro. You know where your money's being spent. If your money's being made if you're making money for white people, that's where your bet is buried. So if that's it, we can't play games. You can't talk to these people like they're freaking normal anymore.
Now we got to throw them away.
If you care about anything, then you can't talk to them like they're normal anymore. Like say, hey, these are the facts. Hey, if you're with it, cool. If you're not with it, we're done with you. And that's really all I got to say.
Appreciate it, fam. I appreciate it. And I think we got to be done with a lot of people that we're not okay with being done with. I think we got to be, I mean, you know, I'm not saying we don't believe in redemption. If you say, I read up some reparation stuff and you know you was right, and you come back to me, then we can talk about it. Even then, your state in my life is not promised because we got to move. And I can't be carrying all this dead weight. It's like carrying a bunch of sacks of potatoes. I'm tired. Like, no, I need people that can run with me. Run right beside me. I don't need no potato sacks. My body ain't built for a bunch of potato sacks. You know, I need you to be like with me. So I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. I'm going now to 75721. 75721, I'm coming to you. What's going on?
Yvette.
What's up, Otis?
Hey, I see you're on it. Look, I want to speak to that Breaking Brown family out there because you and Tone have hit on something that made national headlines. But I alluded to it as a single father. Any parent out there who believes that this just started at the college level, I'm going to ask you to do something. Send your child to school tomorrow and ask for a list of the tutors at their school, be it middle school or high school. And you'll find out that not only is zip codes used to process your kid out by giving white kids the advantage, you'll find out that some of the very same teachers charge $40 to $50 an hour in middle school and high school to take these tests. This system is rigged not just at the college level, but from the very time you're running around selling katydids and trying to make sure that the athletic team has the right stuff to go on field trips. This is a process used throughout the system. You talked about Atlanta. I can tell you right here in Yorktown, Virginia, as a single parent, I fought this 15 years ago. When you find out that these counselors are directing children to classes that aren't AP, like the lady was talking about earlier, even when your child is, quote, the exceptional Negro, has proven to be academically capable of being in those spaces, what they do not have is 4 or 5 years of being tutored at $40 or $50 an hour. Ask me how I know. I have some family members that are in education. I have the conversation with them all the time. I'm going to tell you again, it's okay to know what's happening on the national level with the 750 that they told you about, but if you really want to know how it's affecting you now, if you really want to stop, as that gentleman said, you want to stop not caring, go and send a request to find out the list of tutors right there in your school or in your school district. And it's going to wake you up to the fact that your child is being processed out of this early on in their career.
Absolutely. I agree.
Now,
go ahead.
Yeah. The other thing I want to know is you talk about this system of ADOS. I listen and do a lot of research. We just had some people that profess to be on the black side of leftists and reporting, and I've noticed a strange thing about them. They put out an article about ADOS today, and it tells me, I don't know, I wish I could ask him myself, is Tone teaching economics at Duke University?
Sandy Darity, Dr. Sandy Darity is teaching economics at Duke.
Oh, No. I read the report today. I tried to send it to you. I didn't have direct access to Tone because I wanted to send it to him to verify that he teaches the economics course at Duke University.
No.
That came from a reporter who has a long history, and I'll give their name on air. Black Agenda Report. They claim that one of the founders of ADOS is Moore, who teaches in economics class. Now, the reason I'm saying that on air, because it was a side swipe at the veracity of ADOS. Supposedly, everything that you're talking is a white supremacist talking point.
Oh, my.
And I'm telling you this because eventually this particular person will have to eat all of those words, because you know me, I like to screenshot, and I put his quotes up on my Facebook page because I expect a reckoning for him. I want to know how he compiled this report, how he could make those accusations and not bother to contact the person that he claims is teaching an economics class at Duke or at UNC or whatever. I'm going to tell you, these people keep coming sideways, talking about ADOS does not understand reparations should be a collective thing. These people are not doing the homework, and I'm going to tell you this. I've seen specific programs that you've done addressing the specificity of what you and Tone talk about. And these people keep coming back saying that ADOS doesn't have a knowledge of history, which is a blatant lie. Most of us know more about Pan-Africanism and the background of how we got here than most of the people that are wading into this conversation. I don't understand how they can be so ignorant and supposedly have a national agenda and not understand that they could easily Google your name, Google specific words and phrases, and come up with proof that what they're saying is a lie. So that tells me that these attacks are willful.
Yeah,
these are not accidental. And yeah. I'm going to tell you another one. You know, abolition is my thing. So I had an extended conversation with Dr. Darrell Scott, who's come up with a new term to describe people who are abolitionists today. He's in charge of African American Studies at Howard University, and he explains that slavery ended in 1865 and actually was used to save white Irish people from slavery. This is a man who heads the history department at Howard University. Tell me these people are not what I keep saying to you. They are modern-day recipients of meritorious manumission. Nobody with that many degrees can be that ignorant. Now, I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. If these parents want what you're saying today about the 750 people that have been exposed at the college level, what they're going to find out is this process also works at junior, middle school, and high school throughout this nation. It is all a part of this privatization, voucher bullshit that the Roland Martins, the Steve Perrys, and somebody else that's a fan of charters that I have a hard time with, Nina Turner. When you dig into these people's background, you'll find out that they are doing the same thing white people are doing. They're extracting their children from a system of failure, moving them on and telling you that mine are okay. If you can extract a few children out and become like that guy that you followed for a while on Twitter who talked about the prep school that he went to, then you found out his brother went there too, and he also works for Kamala Harris's campaign.
Yeah, the crazy man.
All of those people, they are the black faces that have been extracted from blackness. I tell you again, it ought to be an Olympic.
Say that one time, Otis. The black faces that have been extracted from blackness. Oh, that's deep. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Exactly. Running from blackness, all the while telling you what you see is an advocate for you, when in reality, they're advocating only for themselves. Meritorious manumission is about that. Being rewarded for doing what? Advancing myself at the expense of the whole. if the people in this chat want to I don't have a child in school, but I followed education ever since Diane Revis helped me when I was a single parent. I'm telling you again, this process is not limited to college entry. It is there when you are preparing your child for college. So I'm going to leave you on that note and tell the ADS family, I love the way I see y'all coming with facts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you better keep doing that. And here's something else. If you come into this space and you're new, be willing to do what I said before. You've got to be willing to do the work. Recurring training. Don't come here asking all questions all willy-nilly, coming up with bright ideas. Sandy Darity said he's coming out with a new book that goes into a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
I'm losing patience with trying to be the nice guy that gives you links.
Uh-oh.
Even screenshots with paragraphs to answer your question, and then you come back with, well, I want to know if I get the check. Reparations is more than a check. The people writing about this without interviewing the people who have actually done this political education for 3 years, they are not your friend. Do the work.
Do the work.
Educate yourself on the talking points. Do the work. If you do the work now, there is a chance that this reparations movement can become what we envision it. All this stuff about imagination, no, you don't need imagination. You need a vision. You need to understand where you are and what it's going to take to get where you want to go. This crap about, ADS just want to carve out their part and push imperialism. Guess what? If you ain't got a damn thing to get AFRICOM off of 900 bases around the world, you also are advocating imperialism. So don't try to turn it on me and tell me that because I want to share in the wealth of a nation that our ancestors built, that I am somehow the antagonist and the one that wants to be defeated. Your ignorance is showing, you're wearing it on your sleeve, and I don't mind calling you out.
Ooh. All right, Otis. You killing them tonight.
Those that are willing to fight for it.
All right. I appreciate you, Otis. As always. Listen. Y'all ain't got no, we're gonna partner with Africa. The countries in Africa's a huge landmass. When people say they're gonna partner with Africa, I know they're morons. Because like Africa's a huge landmass. But if you didn't know that Antonio wasn't the one that duking it with Sandy Darity, then you're ignorant anyway. Like I don't know what to tell you. Go change that. Somebody go screenshot that before they change it. Look, do y'all remember the episode of like Atlanta when Donald Glover was talking to the preschool teacher? He was talking with his baby moms and they was talking and she was like, yeah, like when I see a little kid that can get out the gate, like this gate locks them in. You know, this school locks them in, but when I see one that can get out, I let them out. That's Black life. Like that's what it means for us. Maybe somebody gets out of a gate. Like cattle. That's the life. That's why I actually like the series. And so what happened, and so we don't really understand like that's what life is. That's what's built into our life. That's what poverty does. That's what having slavery and redlining and white mobs and Tulsa and Black Wall Street being burnt down. That's what that means for life now. Nothing goes away. It's all still here. That means that's what your kid is. And see, understand this. Black America has like an aspiration problem, I think. You know, you can send your kid to USC without paying this money. But that's what wealth calcification does. This is before college and throughout life. Like, even if your kid gets in, if you don't have the money for these wealth transfers and everybody else is doing that money, like, you can't do that. I mean, I take it back, and I think I've used the example before. Like, I ran cross country in high school. And I always used to, like, early on wonder, like, there was this one guy who was like, he just be running and running and running. And everybody else ran better. It was all white kids. White kids run cross country. Like, I've always liked to run. I still run. But, like, I was like, running and running and running and running. And the way he run. And then you find out, like, these kids went in camp. While you were playing in the sand. Like, these kids were in camp. working on running and working on their style and working on their form and working on how far they could go, running. And so you realize that, like, I got messed up. Like, I didn't have that opportunity. So can you give your kid what it takes to be there? Like maybe $2,000 a month, right? For life at USC. And you know, 24K a year. That's all you got to throw your kid while they're there. And then you pay for school still. And you throw your kid that because that's a little enough. But you still got to take your kids on a trip. But can you throw your kid 24K? Because understand, if you can't throw your kid that money while they're at these schools, their life at these schools is going to be hell anyway. That's why that girl, remember that girl, the black kid who ran away from Columbia and said she was just tired of it or whatever? Your life is hell if you there with all them rich white kids and no money. They got all the money. And they're going to make you feel like it because they scourges, they little evil people. So they're going to make you feel horrible. Do you have the money to throw to your kid? Hey, listen, just throw this $2,000 away. And the kid's going to probably call him, like, can I have 4? Mom, can I have 4? I need 4. But can you throw them that anyway so they can hang out with the kids? Like, and just go out and hang out. If not, what are you talking about? If you don't have the reparations to make that possible. If you don't have that, then your kid, then what are you even talking about in terms of your kid going to one of these schools? Going to like Stanford or USC or Harvard or Yale or whatever. What are you even having a conversation for if you don't got that money to throw at them? That's torture being there without that money. Y'all don't be thinking things through. You just be talking. I'm going to my last call now. I'm going to 720. I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, this is Joseph from Aurora, Colorado.
What's going on, Joseph? What's on your mind?
Oh, the crimes that are being committed against us. You and Antonio Moore and I'm Yossi from Pong. I'm 64 years young. Came back to America in 93, got involved with HR 40 when I realized it was just... Anyway, I'm on board. But what we have to realize is that we have been made the exploited class. And without reparations, as you have stated, we cannot be made whole. I've been telling my family for a long time, I'm right at that point. They're trying to retire me out right now. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see how that all works out. But the problem that I'm having is against the union, because I live in a right-to-work state. And so, yeah, I'm in a struggle, a personal struggle, but with y'all's help, I'm winning. So it's working out really well. I did not have this political education. I was on my own since 14, self-educated. So I don't know what you guys know, but I have learned so much in the last 2 years following y'all, that these people I have a purpose, and I am here to right this wrong. I have the will to will justice done. I am coming for this check, not just for myself and my daughter and my grandchildren, but for all of us. And they're going to have to kill me to stop me, because that's the only way this ain't going to get done. I have the will to see it through. Okay. I'm in a rage. I'm trying to speak, but I'm not that educated.
That's fine.
They declared it. I'm taking it to them. We coming to get everything that is due us. It is our inheritance, and if you don't have our inheritance, you can't tell us that we don't get to have it. You ain't stopping this. No,
this train gone. This train done left the gate. This train done left the gate. Sorry.
We're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming.
Thank you, fam. I agree with you. We coming. Like with this train. See, what people don't understand, this train's already left the gate. Like y'all don't even know. The people who are trying to write and do you little YouTube videos, it's over. And I don't think we understand that there are a lot of scams that are being going on. And so people who have been doing this Pan-Africanism, like, and all this, well, we gonna do it in Africa, they've been running the scam too. And so what happens is, like, if we get reparations, if we push enough to get it, like if we push and we get it, it's not just going to be a lot of these other people who are out of business. All you people who are online talking this stupid stuff just to get clicks, y'all are out of business too. And people know that. You all know that it's over for you too. Because once we change our positionality, nobody has to listen to your weird fantasies anymore. We're here now. I want to get us here now. Get us with our money. Get us with our due. Get us what we're owed in terms of our lineage. But ain't nobody going to listen to your little weird, look at what I'm doing in East Africa, the coast. I don't even think half of y'all lying. But nobody's going to want to hear that anymore because people going to be like, oh, I'm here. I'm in America. I got my money and I'm finna move. We're finna navigate now. We're finna do our thing now. We ownership. We're doing production. Ain't nobody going to be living in your imaginary world. So I think one of the things that we have to understand is that the fulfillment of reparations puts a lot of people out of business. And it's not just white people. It's not just racist. It puts them out of business too, but it's not just them. And you have to understand that. You know, you can't grow your kid up without that. You know, when you look at like one of Antonio's videos, I think it had like 2,300 likes and 140 dislikes. These people who are creating these little weird videos and these little weird people in the corner of their house, like what you have to understand is that like these are just very, very loud little naysayers. And if you look at them, to borrow a term from like somebody who decided they were going to be my nemesis, if you look at them, what you understand is that they're just loud and wrong, but they don't represent anything substantial. And so that's part of the reason why I don't even think that it deserves like a response. They didn't substantiate. Like when you look at all the allegations that you see against me, Antonio, nobody is substantiating those allegations. Everybody's like, well, I got receipts. But then when you get into it, you actually don't. You actually just got talking points. This person is a pawn of whatever. Based on what? Based on what, goof? Okay, this person, I can tell you, they actually never marched on a picket line. How do you know what I did? We don't talk. How do you know what I did? You have no idea. And when's the last time that y'all got everybody who's talking trash, I just want you to ask them one thing. When's the last time y'all got reparations in the presidential debate? Don't worry, I'll wait. And if you haven't done that, then please respect yourself enough to get somewhere, sit down and shut up. If you haven't gotten, ADOS did this. If you haven't gotten reparations on the table, you don't get to sit here and tell me about how we supposed to do it. Obviously, you don't know. Obviously, go somewhere, go to sleep, take a nap, have some hot cocoa, some chamomile tea. I don't really care. But you don't need to be in this space no more. I don't care where you're writing, how you're writing, or what you're doing. Go away. You have been ineffective. I don't care if you were effective in your early life. That was a different place, different time. We're moving in a different avenue now. How do you not know that it's time for you to shut up? And it's time for you to fall back, fall behind, and follow people who are trying to do this and position us all as terms of ADOS in a very specific place that's good for all of us. You all don't understand America anymore, and you are in the way. You are in the way of everything we're trying to do. And I've been trying to be nice. I have not hit anybody. I have not said anything. Really, Otis said some stuff, but I have not. But if you make me come for you, I'm going to come for you with a very sharp, and I'm going to eviscerate you. Please don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. I'm trying to mind my business and stay on my square. So, fam, those of you who are on the call, we're not going to be able to get to you tonight. I apologize, but we're at like 2 hours and 11 minutes right now. Please hit the like button, fam. Please share. Please do all of that wonderful stuff. You can go to patreon.com/ycarnell and donate. You can do all of that. But please hit that like button. You can go to subscribetobrown.com to subscribe to the newsletter. You can subscribe to the newsletter also on its own. It's usually in my YouTube description. It's $2 a month. You can do all of that stuff. And until next time, family, we have to have another conversation. You can find me on Twitter at Breaking Brown. And, there's a lot of stuff we got to do, a lot of stuff we got to take care of. The book club is March 21st. So please do not forget about that, Monday and Wednesday, and we'll have the book club as well. And it is what it is, fam. Until next time, be easy. Don't let these people bother you. Finish your libations, and we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it pushing because that's what we do.